All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're pulling back the Iron Curtain and, yeah, the Iron Mask on one of the most complex, compelling, and just downright iconic figures in all of fiction, Doctor Doom. So let's just set the stage here. We are not talking about your average, run-of-the-mill bad guy. Doctor Doom is a king, a scientific genius who can go toe-to-toe with anyone in the universe, and he's a master of the mystic arts. Think about that. He commands armies, magic, and technology with equal, terrifying skill. And that is the big question we're digging into today. Because underneath all that armor, all that ambition, there's a story of tragedy, of ego, and a really warped sense of honor that makes him so much more than just a villain. Okay, let's dive right in. To really get Doctor Doom, you first have to wrap your head around the sheer scale of his reputation and, maybe more importantly, his own self-perception. First thing you gotta understand, he's not just some guy with a secret lair. No, he is the absolute, unquestioned ruler of his own country, Latveria. This means he has diplomatic immunity, a seat at the table with world leaders. He has an entire nation that answers only to him. And this right here is what makes him so unique. It's the duality. You know, most characters, they pick a lane. Iron Man has his tech, Doctor Strange has his magic. Doom walks both paths. He'll build a time machine in the morning and summon a demon in the afternoon. It's wild. And you better believe his goals are anything but small. Doom genuinely, truly believes that the only way for the universe to ever know true peace is for him, and only him, to be in charge. In his mind, it's not about greed. It's a grim, cosmic duty that only he can handle. Of course, his road to saving the universe is, well, it's paved with some of the most horrific acts you can imagine. This isn't just a list of crimes. It's a cosmic rap sheet. When Doom gets involved, the stakes are always existence itself. So here's the crucial part. This epic, world-breaking villainy, it didn't just come from nowhere. It was forged in the fire of some pretty intense personal tragedy and oppression. See, Victor Von Doom was born into a persecuted Romani clan in Latveria, living under the thumb of this incredibly cruel baron. His mother was a powerful mystic, his father a brilliant healer, but against their oppressors, they had no real power. His first huge loss came when his mother, just desperate to gain enough power to protect her people, made a deal with the demon Mephisto. Well, the deal backfired, she was killed, and her soul was damned to hell for eternity. And it wasn't long after that Victor's own father died from exposure while they were fleeing the Baron's forces. He'd failed to heal the Baron's wife, and they paid the price. So young Victor was left an orphan, totally alone, and just filled with this burning rage against the world that had taken everything from him. And this is where that rage, that desire for vengeance, starts to sharpen into this focused, lifelong grudge. This is where the legend really begins. Okay, look at this timeline, because it reveals everything about him. His genius gets him a scholarship to a U.S. university. There he meets his one true intellectual equal, Reed Richards. He gets obsessed with contacting his dead mother, so he builds this machine. Richards looks at his work and says, hey, your math is off. But Victor's ego, it just can't handle it. Of course, the machine explodes, scarring his face. And what does he do? He blames Richards. See the pattern? Every single misstep, the flawed math, the explosion, it all comes from his own arrogance. But he projects all that failure onto his new arch nemesis. That one moment of blame, it defines the entire rest of his life. So with his transformation complete, mask and armor forged, Doom doesn't just go on a random rampage. Nope, his first move is to go home and become a head of state. He goes back, overthrows the tyrant who destroyed his family, and takes the throne of Latveria for himself. He renames the capital Doomstat and sets up what he calls an enforced monarchy. His word is law, his face is on the currency, and his iron will shapes every single aspect of that nation. And this, right here, gets to the absolute core of his philosophy. Under Doom's rule, Latveria has zero poverty, no pollution, and it's totally safe from any foreign invaders. He provides for his people, he really does. But the price for all that is their freedom, absolute freedom. Dissent is crushed, surveillance is everywhere, and even high school students have to learn how to build his robotic enforcers, the Doombots. It's basically a perfect, peaceful prison. Which brings us to what is, for my money, the most fascinating part of his character,
this grand, magnificent contradiction that is Doctor Doom.
On the one hand, you've got this. Pure, uncut, operatic grandstanding. The guy doesn't just talk, he proclaims. He doesn't just walk into a room, he makes an entrance. It's kind of goofy, right?
So how can a character who sounds like he's in a Shakespeare play, who is just so over-the-top theatrical, also be considered one of the most dangerous beings in the entire Marvel universe?
Because somehow he is both at the exact same time. This is the same man who has literally stolen the power of gods and remade reality itself. And it's also the guy who only refers to himself in the third person and sends robots to do his errands because, lesser tasks are beneath him. He is a universe-ending threat with the petty ego of a stage actor. It's incredible.
I mean, just look at this list. His intellect is off the charts. He commands science and sorcery. His armor is a walking fortress. And holding it all together is an indomitable will that just refuses to ever accept defeat. He's a one-man army who can, and has, challenged actual gods.
But what's driving all that incredible power? See, it isn't just a simple lust for conquest. He is fundamentally driven to rescue his mother from hell, which, by the way, he eventually does. He is ferociously protective of his people. And he is obsessed with proving he is smarter than the one man he sees as his equal. These are profoundly human, you could almost say noble motivations, all just twisted and warped by his colossal ego. It's this impossible, brilliant complexity that has made Doctor Doom such an enduring and honestly beloved figure. He's the villain who constantly steals the show right out from under the heroes. At the end of the day, Doctor Doom is the ultimate proof that the greatest villains aren't just a threat to the world. They're a dark mirror of our own potential, our own pride, and our own pain. He really makes you ask, what's more terrifying and what's more compelling? The plan to rule the universe, or the fragile, broken heart that's fueling it all?